Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart. Best there is, best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
Hello and welcome to your Smacked Raw podcast. This is your host for every Friday, for the most part, Sebastian. We just finished at Smackdown for January 17th, 2020. If you can't tell, I am by myself tonight. I've never went solo before, so this is a interesting little experience. I'm probably going to come across a little awkward at times, so just bear with me. If you listen to me, my shows before, when I have somebody on here, I try to go into more analyzing and stuff and try to keep it less recappy, I guess. But obviously tonight I don't have anyone to bounce off of ideas and talking points, so it will be a little less of that tonight, of what I usually do. So like I said, just bear with me. This is a new experience. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope I don't bore you to death. Before we get started, I want to say, guys, this is your one-stop shop for all things WWE, AEW, NXT, even though, it's the same thing as WWE. But we do your recap, post-shows, pay-per-view predictions, pay-per-views, of course. We do some throwbacks as well. And some other side stuff we got trying to go on right now. So, got some new content coming out here soon. Underutilized series we got going. I believe our first one's going to be about Shelton Benjamin. Whenever we get that done, next week we'll have our throwback as well. It will be the 2000 Royal Rumble. So you can go back for that street fight with Cactus Jack and Triple H and enjoy that with us. We are available on YouTube. We're available on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Radio, Stitcher. I believe that's it for right now. A bunch of audio apps you can get us on. Of course, YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe. Try to get us to 1,000 or 100 subscribers. Get that custom URL. I forgot to plug too. Jay, I know it's been a long time, but he lost the Survivor Series predictions between the group, and we do a punishment for the loser. So we're gonna have that coming out pretty soon. It's gonna be either on recording or on video up on our YouTube. We're not sure which one we're doing yet. May even do both. But it's gonna be pretty good. He has I believe it's called a Toe with Satan. That was Kyle's idea. So, yeah, poor Jay. I still believe I got the worst end of it, though, when I lost. I believe it was Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I lost Hell in a Cell, and I had to be a Jinder Mahal stand for a week. So, that was a low point in my life. But, anyway, guys, like I said, we are here to talk about your January 17th episode of Smackdown. We're on the road to the Royal Rumble now, and man, does it look awful blue. I think right now there's one Raw match announced, that of course being Becky and Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. But on Smackdown, you already had some matches announced, and we got more tonight. I believe they're up to 6 or 7 matches right now. So, yeah, Smackdown, as of right now, I'm sure next week we'll find some stuff out on Raw. Possibly, God help us, another installment of Rusev and Lashley, or something with Seth Rollins and AOP and what they got going on with KO and Joe and Big Show if he's still involved. Maybe even throw in Rey Mysterio if he loses the ladder match, since the seeds have been planted for him to get involved with that angle. So, yeah, there's some stuff for Raw to add if they choose to, but right now, man, it's Becky and Asuka, unless I'm forgetting something right off. There's no United States Championship, tag team titles right now isn't a priority for the show. So yeah, and it's weird too because Raw, I feel like, has been the better show here the last 6 or 7 weeks. I feel like SmackDown's improved some the last couple weeks since they got the Usos back and Sheamus back, and added some new not new faces, I should say, but adding some, freshening up the roster a little bit more. I felt like that the depth chart was just getting a little too small and repetitive. So, and John Morrison too, of course, and Robert Roode, I guess, even though he's not been out too long. He was only out a month due to his drug suspension. Well, substance suspension, whatever you want to call it, wellness policy. They never announced what he had, but whatever the case may be, if you don't follow any of the backstage things, and you might even think it's Roman Reigns injured him, like Michael Cole wants you to believe. But man, tonight I felt like it was good. I felt like we had a really good episode tonight. I felt like, well, I don't know, it was really good for SmackDown. Before, I say it started turning around 2 weeks ago, I felt like you might be able to pick 1 or 2 things that's decent, and that's about it, and the rest of the show was rough until here recently. So, but we open the show, Kane is out in the ring. Well, at least for me, he probably got his entrance. I was like 2 minutes late getting to watch. So when I got started, he was in the ring. He announced that he was in the Royal Rumble. For me, I don't know. I know he has a legacy in the Royal Rumble match, and I guess you couldn't really do the same angle that they got to here, and I'll talk about momentarily, unless you put him in a Royal Rumble match with it being this close. I'm not sure. You got to have a little more meaning than that, I guess, just to play a little trap game with the Fiend. But man, I just feel like, and it's not only does it not need Kane at this point, and that's no disrespect to Kane. I've always been a big fan of Kane, but I just don't know. I don't feel like the Royal Rumble needs it. And if they did, I feel like this would be a nice surprise entrant, a legacy surprise entrant that could have been saved for the show. And I'm not saying that's what they should do all the time. Like with John Morrison, I believe that they did the right thing with him. I know a lot of people was upset that John Morrison was brought out straight into a program, and they didn't, bring him out for a big pop at the Royal Rumble and not do anything for another 2 weeks with him. But I feel like with Morrison, I love what they've done, introducing him the way, or bringing him back, I should say, the way they have. And and I guess you could say introducing to Kevin and Rob on our crew. They're not too familiar with John Morrison because they took long time away from wrestling there for a little while. So a lot of people, and I'm sure that's the case with others too, aren't familiar with them. So I guess it really just depends. But either way you look at it, I like it the way they've done it. Straight into the program with The Miz. It means something. He's going to be, I assume, even though it's not announced yet, which we'll get to the Royal Rumble card a little later, I assume he's going to be in a tag team championship match against the New Day, partnered by The Miz. And I believe that's a lot better use for him just to get a cheap pop for a surprise entrant at the Royal Rumble. At least that's my opinion. But anyway, Kane announces he's in the Royal Rumble. Bray Wyatt comes up in Firefly Funhouse. And I love, and this is interesting for a couple of reasons, I love that they visited their history before Fiend. in this little Firefly Funhouse segment, even bringing up the Inferno match, showing video packages with that. I thought that was really smart way to do. And even bringing up, Kane's picture on the wall. I thought that was cool. Just Bray Wyatt, man, he delivers everything so well. It doesn't matter how goofy it is. He just does a really good job at it. And, Bray pretty much says, I haven't forgotten, neither has the Fiend. Of course, we get the lights going out. Didn't know, if it was just the tease, maybe just get Kane going. But, the Fiend does come out. When the lights come back on, Kane's on the bottom of the ramp. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I remember not too long into the Fiend's existence, Jerry Lawler got smart and was at the top of the ramp and got anyway. But I thought the bottom of the ring, or bottom of the ramp, was an interesting place. Felt like Kane hasn't watched in a while. Because 90% of the time, if you're in the ring in the Fiend, his lights go down, and I can't really say music, but laugh. He's coming to the ring. I don't know. I don't know why he's looking at the entrance ramp. But the Fiend comes up through the ring, crawls slowly. Kane eventually turns around, sees him, and he says, "What took you so long?" And at first you're maybe he's talking to the Fiend there. But the Fiend turns around, slowly realizes that Daniel Bryan is behind him. He gets the running knee, and this is as you see in my ticker, the Fiend running. I'm not sure how I feel about that, man. I'm really not. I get that you got to change things up, and I fully understand. But with the Fiend, I just feel like the minute people stop being afraid of him, it's the beginning of the end of him. I feel like the Fiend character doesn't work without that trait, man. It's so don't. Even when he's in the ring, he's the red light. It's like a horror movie. And if you take that away from the Fiend, what is he? Is he just Bray Wyatt again? I'm just not sure. And I do kind of have enough faith in them. I know it's weird to say. But even with the Hell in a Cell debacle, they've done a good job of kind of recovering him from that. I feel like this Daniel Bryan feud has been exactly what he needed to get past that. So I don't know, man. I hope that they have a good ending coming for this. And I guess you could say, well, it's for the stipulation match that Daniel Bryan announced right after this. He announced it would be a strap match. That's interesting. And his explanation is, he's tired of the mind games. He's tired of all that. He's tired of the running, even though the Fiend's only ran once. That he's going to have a strap match where both of them, neither one of them can run. They're going to be right in each other's face. And I get that. I do. But like I said, booking one match to potentially do something that renders a character for a specific duration before you can kind of get that stench back off of them, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure it's worth it. And I get that at the Survivor Series they already had their regular match, and it was more entertaining than I expected it to be. It wasn't a squash. Daniel got some stuff in, and it was fun. So I get that they wanted to do something different, because you couldn't really give Daniel more offense in a regular match from what he got back then without actually winning. And I understand that. I don't like the Fiend running. There's different ways to tell this story. Like, even without the running, it's just, I don't know. I feel like they could have went about it a different way than what they did tonight. This is the first strap match. I believe, I want to say Sheamus versus Mark Henry in 2013, I believe. So, 7 years, 6.5. I'm not sure when 2013. I just think that's the year it happened. But 6.5, 7 years. It's been a long time. So who knows? And WWE, they have done a decent job with these stipulation matches lately. We had a tables match tonight. We got a ladder match Monday, and of course we had the fist fight that I'm not sure anybody was exactly excited for going in, but it actually ended up being pretty decent, and I was there live for that, and that was chaotic and it was fun. So who knows? Maybe they're turning the page, but the only difference is the guy that's turning the page on Raw isn't on SmackDown. I'm not sure I have the same faith in Bruce Pritchard than I do Paul Heyman about that kind of stuff. But anyway, back to, I said it's bringing up the Inferno match was kind of interesting in a couple of ways. I saw a ad that said in Saudi Arabia there was advertising Kane versus the Fiend in an Inferno match. So, you could have had some foreshadowing there. We'll see what happens after the Rumble. I don't know. I assume Kane might be on TV next week, and then you got the Rumble. I don't know how long he can stay away from his mayor duties. I don't know. But, he has made a lot of Saudi Arabia trips, and from what I understand, he uses that money to donate to, local fire departments and stuff like that. So, he's away. I guess he's still doing his job. So, I just don't know. And, like I said, I don't know. I'm not sure how to feel about getting a program like that out of Kane. I'm not sure about, having the Fiend run away from Daniel and pull a hair, or dreadlocks, I should say, like Daniel's hair got pulled out of him. I just don't know. I had mixed feelings about it. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope they, do a really good job with it. It's scary, man. It's scary when you talk about the Fiend and how successful, and I don't know, trust me, I know, I hated the Hell in a Cell finish more than anybody, but the crowd, man, they're still pop. I think they've done a good job of recovering, but I don't know, if they go down this well too much of the Fiend not being scary anymore, it's just not going to work, I don't think. But moving on from that, after Daniel's interview and match announcement, we had Big E versus John Morrison. John Morrison's first match. It was a fine match. Nothing was really wrong with it. I would have kind of liked to save his first match for, Royal Rumble in a way. Save it for that big pay-per-view. He's still in the story I talked about. But, they maybe, who knows, it's a ratings game. When it's a first-time match, or return match on a weekly episode and see if you get a rating spike. I just don't know if enough people know who John Morrison is today to really tune in. I guess you could get his, older fans back just to check it out, but Morrison was never a top guy, so I'm not sure how much he really moves the needle. But John Morrison does pick up the win here. He had a little help with Miz, but like I said, I'm sure this is setting up a Royal Rumble match between the two teams. After that, we got two more teams in the tag division: the Usos versus the Revival. I was disappointed in this match. When you think of Revival and Usos in a match, you expect it to be good. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong. There was no botches. Everything looked crisp. It's just, and I get it. I get it that the Usos needed a statement win on their return after, last week's shenanigans in their match, and I get that. And I also get, while, how should I say it? The Revival's contracts are coming up. That's no secret. I don't think WWE should give them huge moments right now with their contract coming up. Just in case. And I'm not one of them people that think this is a slam dunk after Revival's leaving. I really don't. I think there's a decent chance that they stay. It seems like everybody that leaves their promotion now is AEW bound, and we're yet to really see a lot of that. Marty Scurll being the latest example. But, they can't really afford to give them a lot of huge moments right now. But at the same time, I think they're for sure still trusted to perform at a high level. Even the ladder match just recently. Obviously, there's still faith in the Revival. It's just, you want to be safe, I guess. And so I get it. Maybe they. Why I do think there's a good chance that they stay. Maybe they shouldn't. AEW would be a good, I don't want to say fit because it's more athletic and fast paced, but I think that's why it would work out, to add more variety to that tag team division. And NWA Power, man, that's a perfect suit for them right now. If you're not watching NWA Power, you should. It's a really fun show. It's just an hour long. And I've gotten into it recently and caught up. And, it's really, really good. I couldn't recommend it enough, especially if you're an old school kind of guy. But after this, we move on. We have Bayley versus Lacey Evans. Earlier in the night, Lacey injured Sasha Banks, apparently, in a backstage brawl. Hurt her ankle. And I don't know what to make of that. I felt like Lacey was going to have to go through Sasha to get a title shot. But instead of that, we had the typical WWE way of having somebody win a match against a champ to get a title opportunity, even though you already beat them once. But I did like the setup. They were backstage, Sasha and Bayley. They were trying to get out of the match, talking about like it wasn't going to happen. Well, Adam Pearce, of all people, found them and told them, no, there's still going to be a match going. If you're not ready to go, Sasha, fine. Bayley is. The match is being promoted. We're having it, and it's next. And I thought that was really interesting to bring Adam Pearce out there in that. I'm really interested to see how, if that's a one-time thing or we're going to see it more. I feel like that Smackdown needs a 40 figure at some point. Not like an overly GM, per se, but like later, and I'll come back to this later in the show, it's too inconsistent. It really is. But we have the match, Lacey Evans versus Bayley. I thought it was a solid match. And I've talked about the show before. On Fridays, I never thought that Lacey could pull off a face turn, and she has, man. I think that her face turn has been. We look at so many things that WWE doesn't do well, but don't like to look at what they do well. And Lacey Evans' face turn has been an example of that. I think they've done a really, really good job with Lacey and have they managed her after the turn. But like I said, they had a good match. The finish came. Bayley was running the ropes. And out of nowhere, women's right, man. I really like the finish. I had flashbacks of Shawn Michaels, not saying these same level of talent before I get jumped onto, but Shawn Michaels, Triple H swing chip music, and Shawn Michaels falls straight down for the pin. That's pretty much how this happened. It was just a lemon drop. I really liked it. Later in the night, we had the announcement. Bayley will face Lacey Evans at the Royal Rumble. Like I said, they went down the route of the champion getting pinned to, just to give a title shot to begin with. And I don't know why they keep going down that well. But after this, Braun Strowman is showed backstage. He says he wants an IC title shot. He doesn't care if it's tonight in Greensboro, next week in Dallas, or at the Royal Rumble. He does not care. He just wants it. He wants the belt. Well, we kept Elias in the ring, and Elias probably got more reaction this week as far as getting the crowds to, clap with him and stuff. And we had a good crowd tonight in Greensboro. We really did. They was energetic throughout the night. They really added to the show. But Elias was getting them going. Sami Zayn comes out, and I did dig this. There's a little continuity in the show, having Sami just come out and confront this already. He comes out, interrupts Elias, pretty much says Braun will not get a title shot, not anywhere near Royal Rumble. Pretty much declares that Shinsuke is going to be in the Rumble. He tells Elias to carry on. Hold on one second. I'm going to get a drink of water here. Alright. Tells Elias to carry on. They start to leave. Elias tells him to hold up. He has to sing a song called Sami Zayn Needs to Shut the Hell Up. And the chorus to it being Shinsuke Sucks. Of course, the heels. Sami tells Cesaro to go get him. He goes in. Elias gets the upper hand. Enter Shinsuke. Enter Sami. Braun Strowman makes the save. Clears the ring. I assume we'll get a Braun and Elias versus Shinsuke and Cesaro next week. Something like that. And again, we'll probably have Braun pinning the champ. Unfortunately, I don't think there's an easier way to devalue your champions. I really don't. But that's all that segment inquired. Next, we have Alexa Bliss and Sonya Deville. Earlier in the night, Sonya asked Mandy if she could get Otis to be at ringside for her match, saying that she had success with Otis last week, or Mandy had success in her match with Otis last week at ringside, and looking for the same luck. The match is about to start. Heavy Machinery's music goes off. Otis comes out. Typical Otis energy. Crowd loves Otis, man. He's so over. The match wasn't good. I didn't think. And I guess it was due to time. Like, Sonya, I believe, is one of the most underrated wrestlers on that women's division. But, when you rush your talent like that, and then you gotta add another factor of Otis being at ringside and taking some of the attention away and having the Mandy Rose stuff falling off the apron or turnbuckles and Otis catching, just too many things going on to have a decent match. It was short. I don't know. It was disappointing to see Sonya kind of put in that short little thing for me. I did a couple of weeks ago say I kind of felt like this was going to mismatch challenge and we was going to somehow see Sonya and Otis versus Mandy and Dolph, but after tonight, I'm not sure what direction they're going with it. Next, we have Roman Reigns versus Robert Roode. This was fun. Like so many of Roman's matches here lately, especially in this Baron Corbin feud, it's went on for, Jesus, I want to say 3 or 4 months at this point. And because at Survivor Series, there was arguing about who was the locker room leader. But just overbooked stuff. Roman can't go out there and work without interferences and stuff like that. And I get that that's an essential part of heels and getting heat, and I get that. But God, when it happens every single week, it just, what are you really adding to it? You know it's coming. And when you really got to throw logic out the window, it's no DQ. And this is another issue with WWE. It's no DQ, but you have Baron Corbin come out once Roman goes for a barricade. That was a cool spot, by the way. Hats off to Roman, man. When he goes through anything, whether it's a barricade, we've seen him go for a cage a couple times, anything, Roman Reigns puts his whole body into it, and he hits hard. Hats off to him. He really went to that barricade today. But it's no DQ. That spot happens. Baron Corbin comes out, stands on the ramp for, God, minutes. You're a heel. It's no DQ. Go in there and, I don't know. I like psychology. I like logic. Whether that's for better or worse sometimes. I know, even though I enjoy AEW a lot, if I point out that, the tag team matches with tags and stuff, people jump onto me, even on our crew. But I'm a very psychology kind of guy. I like everything having a reason. I don't like asking why are you doing this like I am. Why is Corbin standing there? Why does any heel, they like to do this? They like doing it, and I don't understand. I don't. But we have that. Eventually, Baron Corbin, after being out there for about 8 minutes, comes down to the ring. Dolph Ziggler joins the fray, super kicks Roman. They put him on an announce table. And Rude's about to jump on him. I guess through a fraud splash, I'm not sure. But, Usos come out, and there's another spot. Instead of Rude jumping off the turnbuckle to Roman, he jumps backwards, trying to get the Usos. Like it would have mattered if he had just jumped on Roman. But, WWE and logic. They drop kick Usos. All hell. Typical bloodline stuff. Brawls everywhere. Eventually, Dolph gets put through the announce table by a double fraud splash by the Usos. Walking the tightrope on the barricade, jumping off. Cut back to the ring. Roman spears Robert Roode through the table in the corner. He gets to pick the stipulation. I guess I should have said that before I started this match. The winner got to pick the stipulation for the Royal Rumble match. Roman, of course, he won, got to. If Roode won, Corbin got to. And I was scared to death that Roode would win and we would get this dog food match that keeps making the rounds. And thank God we didn't. And, I don't mind the stipulation that Roman picked. It's a falls count anywhere. He brought up we're in a baseball park. It's going to be a lot of room to kick your ass. And we're going to go everywhere. And I did kind of like that. It's not a bad stipulation. I'm not sure I want to see Roman and Corbin again. I say that, but at the same time, we haven't got a fair one-on-one create a match. Their TLC match was ruined. You had the Revival. You had Dolph, Rude. It's 5-on-1. And at that point, it's boring. I guess I'm sure due to Roman's past booking, a lot of people probably thought Roman would overcome those odds like he always did. But they try to not do that with Roman now. And thank God, by the way. I feel like his booking's been a lot better. I might enjoy the Falls Count Anywhere match if they just keep it between themselves and everybody else is off preparing for a Royal Rumble, kayfabe wise. They don't have time to interfere. But once everybody comes out and joins the fray, it's just it loses my interest, man. Like, I can only see so many people, or 2 people have a match and 10 people run out so many times. Now, if the finale is 1-on-1 straight, even Falls Count Anywhere, add weapons, do whatever you want, just keep it 1-on-1. That's all I ask. And this feud after it. I don't want to see Roman and Corbin anymore, man. I don't. But that's pretty much the end of the episode. We did have, throughout the night, I skipped over a backstage segment here. Earlier in the night, Sheamus interrupted a Shorty G promo. Of course, making short jokes, like always, for poor old Shorty G. They brawl. Gable embarrasses Sheamus. I think that was what they was going for the reaction. Sheamus got up, and it was kind of bad acting. But Sheamus gets up, looks embarrassed that Gable took him down and was laying some fists on him. They get them separated. The match gets announced for the Royal Rumble. 9 days away. This ain't not a bad feud for Sheamus, I don't think. They come back. I get that the Shorty G stuff is not for people, and it's not necessary for me either. I didn't mind it at first, but at times you just forget about him, and that's kind of been a waste. But I didn't feel like that this is a bad return for Sheamus. Like, if you look at the Smackdown roster right now, there's not really much to bring him back to. You can't put him in there with the Fiend. I think that would not work out too well. You can't really put him against Bryan. Of course, Bryan, not just that he's busy with the Fiend, but I'm not sure you want to revisit that history. Roman and Corbin, and it wasn't too long ago, right before that Sheamus went to the tag team, him and Roman had a 2-3 month feud there. You can't. Braun, he'd have to lose. You don't really want that right off the bat. Shinsuke, and can't really say much for Shinsuke because, and I'm going facing his. I'm just saying it don't matter how you bring him back. There's just not that many options. If you put him against Shinsuke, you got that convoluted thing with Cesaro being involved too. I guess you can make the argument that he joins that faction, but then you just have 2 returns, or all the returns going to the tag division, I guess. You already had the Usos and John Morrison coming back to be a tag team. So, not a lot of options as far as that goes. I thought that Gable was, Mustafa Ali, you could have done something with Mustafa, I guess. But that's really about it on SmackDown right now. So you could have done worse. Now, I feel like that this might be a pre-show match. And that sucks considering that's his first match back. But at the same time, compared to the rest of the card, I don't think you need Gable or Shorty G and Sheamus. That has a little build to it on the main card. But, you also added Lacey Evans and Bayley to it. I think it's a little early for Lacey to win a title, even though she has done a really good job since her turn. You can make the argument that while she's getting his reactions, put the belt on her and watch her go, but I don't think she's ready. I think she's always been a good promo. Her in-ring stuff is getting better. But I don't think she's ready, especially I don't think you want the belt on her on the road to WrestleMania. If Bayley and Sasha is the get-go, I think that's, or the plan, I think that's absolutely the best thing you got to go with as far as the SmackDown Women's Division is. And of course, the Roman and Corbin stipulation, like I said, is a Falls Count Anywhere match now. Not a regular match, and that's probably for the best. These two guys can make that kind of match entertaining. Roman can make any stiff match entertaining. Just please, God, keep everybody else away. I mean, like I said, just tell everybody they're too busy. Getting ready for a Royal Rumble. They want to remain event WrestleMania. Just tell that story, please. Please just let them have a clean match, end the feud, and move on. That's all I'm asking. I'm assuming that you also will have Shinsuke and Braun somehow next week will get made. Or that's a match you could also argue that can wait for the SmackDown post Royal Rumble and give that match away on TV. But, unless you have a DQ finish, Braun has to win, and and then again, that could also help live TV ratings. It's just, do you want Braun's first belt to be on free TV, or your second biggest pay-per-view of the year, arguably? You also had the stipulation for the Fiend and Daniel Bryan changed. Like I said, it's going to be a strap match. Worried about how this is going to end up, but like I said, they surprised me with the fist match on Raw every night, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Other than the Hell in a Cell, I've enjoyed everything the Fiend has done. So, I mean, I'm not confident about it, but I'm gonna give it a chance. And I assume New Day versus The Miz and John Morrison will be added to the card as well. So, a lot of SmackDown matches with very few Raw so far. And I guess that kind of is what happens when Brock is your champion. Instead of having, and I'm not saying that's bad. I actually prefer him being in a Rumble match for this situation that we've never really seen before. Brock choosing to be a number one as champion instead of Roman being forced to be number one, like he was when his title was on the line. I mean, if you had Brock in a match, you ruined somebody's momentum with a 6 to 8 minute loss, and the momentum that Drew McIntyre or Aleister Black has gotten's gone already, and you don't want that. And this way is a lot less predictable, a lot more gateways to get where you want to go to Mania. So when I say that, I don't mean it in a negative way. I'm glad they're doing it, but that's what happens as far as the whole pay-per-view goes. When your Raw champ's barely on TV and your United States feud, again, not really hating on it. I've always said that Raw and SmackDown kind of need some more stip matches, and they've done that with the fist fight and tables match tonight, and the ladder match I assume will be a very, very fun match with Andrade and Rey Mysterio. So, yeah, it's a very SmackDown heavy Royal Rumble. It's looking like so far. NXT really won't be adding anything to it. I know there's reports after Survivor Series that maybe NXT will have a match, but it looks like they're gearing up for a takeover, going full force. But I do expect some, surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble match, like we've been getting for the last few years, 2 or 3 years. So, and maybe that's good. I've always said that Raw, like I've said, Raw has been the better show, I believe, the last 7 or 8 weeks. So maybe giving SmackDown these matches will give them a boost if you could come up with a way to, build the Smackdown 1 or 2 after using some of this stuff. So, it's almost Royal Rumble, or almost WrestleMania season. The road's officially beginning, and I honestly cannot wait. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan, man. You just had UK TakeOver. You just had Wrestle Kingdom. NWA Power is going really, really well. AEW, of course, just got the 3-year extension. And apparently adding a second show. New Japan is having their next show next month. And of course the Royal Rumble, TakeOver, Worlds Collide, and of course the road to WrestleMania that unfortunately might be a little clogged up now with apparently a Saudi Arabia show. And that'll be, if they do a fast lane, that'll be 3 pay-per-views after the Royal Rumble in between Mania, and that's crazy. But guys, that's all I have for you. I hope that I haven't bored you. Like I said, I've never done this before by myself, so I apologize if I did. Hopefully I like to hang my hat on my show being more analytical and more of a 2 guys talking about where things will be going instead of an actual recap show. So next week, hopefully we can get back to that. We should be able to. We just had a few unfortunate things happen with our crew tonight. Should be back full strength next Friday for our go home Royal Rumble. And like I said, check us out, man. We do Raw, we do AEW, we have NXT. We got 2 different teams for Wednesday night. Of course, here's SmackDown. Royal Rumble will be next week, and our throwback, and our pay-per-view predictions. Next week, man, it's a big 4 week. And that's always a hectic one for the Smack Raw podcast. So, thank you for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful night and a even better weekend. This is your Smack Raw podcast. You can get me at WrestlingFan_32. Get the crew at Smack Raw Pod. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good one.